Hello and welcome to TheMan Games. You are listening to the podcast show is The Man
And the wife.
podcast. Today we are reviewing TLC, that's Tables, Ladders and Chairs 2016. It was a Smackdown only pay-per-view. It was on December 4th, 2016. When I saw the date, I thought this is really early for a pay-per-view, but it's because they did 2 a month at that time.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they did one at the beginning of the month and one later on in the month. So this was at Dallas, Texas. In the American Airlines Center. So the pay-per-view after this was Roadblock, End of the Line, and we were in Australia when the next pay-per-view was.
Oh, really?
And I was in bed watching it because your mum had drugged me on sleeping tablets.
That's right.
So yeah, I remember. Neville in that he makes his return. I remember just being out of it because your mum had drugged me.
I had to clarify that she didn't force you to take any tablets. She said, "Here's some sleeping tablets."
She gave me some. I don't like to take any tablets at all.
And you had really bad jet lag, didn't you? So she was like, "Oh, just take some of these," and you did, and it wasn't a good few days, was it? Yeah, that was great fun.
So at this point in time, so the brand split is back. So this, like I said, this was a SmackDown brand pay-per-view. At this time, it was the most I'd enjoyed SmackDown since the Eddie Guerrero days. I was at this time I was proper looking forward to SmackDowns on a Tuesday.
And it was more obviously now they said they had this brand split, but it's not actually really there because people keep turning up and everything. Yeah. But that wasn't happening back in 2016, was it? It was a proper brand split. Yeah. Yeah.
They did, obviously on Survivor Series they did do the
yeah, but that
then, but only then really.
Yeah, but it's not now where they're like, oh, and now there's a wild card and
yeah,
it's just
3 people can come over and then it's 4 people and then it's 5 people. And...
yeah, and it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yes, so the first match on the card is the Wyatt family. That is Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton with Luke Harper in their corner. They're going against Heath Slater and Rhyno.
Do you know what? I genuinely cannot remember Orton being in the Wyatt family. Literally just... when I was watching the beginning of this match, and so we've obviously watched this pay-per-view before we watched it again to do the podcast, and I was thinking, why is Randy Orton coming down?
We actually went to a house show when Randy Orton was in the Wyatt family.
I don't know why, but I've seen just really block this out. I have no memory of it whatsoever.
Dear.
Whatsoever.
So before we get into the match, there was 4 people on commentary. 4 people. There was Mara. I can't even say his second name. Can you say it?
I don't know who it is.
Mara Ranallo. That's right, innit?
Where? No idea.
Maybe it says Mamma Mia.
Oh, okay.
And you don't know his name?
No.
Are you for real? Just because I know his name, I just can't pronounce it properly.
Oh.
So Mara Ranello, I think that's how you pronounce his name, was on commentary. JBL, David Otunga and Todd Phillips were on commentary. I don't know why you need 4 people on commentary. This pay-per-view made me realise how much I don't like JBL's commentary. That is something I've thought consistently through the pay-per-view.
He just seems to bury everybody, doesn't he?
Yeah. So yeah, I loved this team of Rhyno and Heath Slater. I thought, they could have done more with it and they could have extended it longer than they did really. This match wasn't this match wasn't meant to be like a 5-star match. I don't think that's what this match was about. The match was basically the Wyatt family dominating and winning the tag team titles. I don't think this was ever set out to be it's more... It was a match, but it was more about the ending than the actual match.
Yeah, the outcome than the actual. Yeah.
It's right. I think sorry to cut you off, but I think most people just expect every match to be like a 5-star match, and every match doesn't need to be a 5-star match, but you can get 5
like a means to the end, yeah.
Yeah, it can be a 5-star like segment if you don't think of it like a match.
Yeah. That makes sense. I did think when we watched this, like, I forgot how good Bray Wyatt's entrance used to be with, like, the buzzers and the lamp and everything. Like, obviously, the stuff he's doing with the Fiend is fantastic and that, but that sort of atmosphere that he creates with that, with the Wyatt family character, you know, that persona and the character there was so good. Really, really good.
So Heath Slater didn't get drafted when they did the draft. That is how his team with Rhyno became a thing. If he could win the tag team titles, he would get a job, and that's, you know, that ended up happening.
They're doing stuff now on TNA, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. Sure are. They're kind of doing like that kind of similar story as well.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Like, he's trying to
get a job.
Yeah. He did that funny promo, didn't he?
So there wasn't really like a lot of notes really about the match.
I have I don't know how far into the match this is, to be honest, but got a good power slam by Orton to Slater.
Like a scoop slam, you mean?
Yeah.
When he jumps over the top. He jumps over the top rope, and Randy scoop slams him. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
And then really, because this match was only 5 minutes and 55 seconds.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
So Rhyno goes to spear Orton on the outside, but Harper like jumps in front and takes the gore, even though they were saying it was a spear, which obviously is the same move, but when Rhyno does it's called the gore.
Right.
And then in the ring, Wyatt's doing that thing where he presses up on his hands and he looks like a spider kind of thing. And then Orton runs in and RKO's Rhyno and gets the win. So it's kind of like an RK out of nowhere. You got new tag team champions. And the kind of like tease at the end is a bit of like dissension between Orton and Harper, you know, that Harper didn't trust Randy Orton and stuff like that.
So why was Orton in the Wyatt family?
Because like Bray Wyatt was meant to have like brought him to the Wyatt family, like brainwashed him, I suppose. So like this part of the story was real good. The Royal Rumble that we're in was really good. Yeah, the kind of like storyline wise, they kind of just
drop the ball.
Drop the ball, definitely. Yeah, the match at WrestleMania 33 definitely wasn't like anything memorable, really. That was like, when the maggots were on the.
Oh yeah. So, but my question is, like, why wasn't Luke Harper wrestling in this match? Why was it Randy Orton?
I think.
Why are they not trying to get Luke Harper over?
They never tried to get Luke Harper over.
Okay. It just makes sense, does it? Like, you've got this young talent in there that you brought in, and then you're like, oh, let's just stick Randy Orton in with them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Oh, I know what you mean, but of course, Elimination Chamber, Randy Orton did fight Luke Harper in the singles match, which I remember was really good. I think the way they could have saved this was make it a triple threat, like the Wyatt family implodes and have Orton, Harper, and Wyatt at WrestleMania 33. But they just never tried to do anything with Luke Harper, which is a shame when you see how well he's doing in AEW. It's just a shame he's been injured for a few weeks.
Yeah,
that's why he's been off TV. So the next segment was there's Dean Ambros backstage. He's getting interviewed by Dasha.
That name really annoys me. I'm guessing that she's been given that name. That's not her real name.
I think it is a real name. Yeah,
is it?
That's her name in AEW.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Dasha. Yeah, because I can say names, kind of. Yeah, Dasha Gonzalez is her real name.
Okay.
So
sorry.
She's asking him how James Ellsworth is after AJ had nearly broke his neck doing a Stars Clash onto him.
Sorry.
What are you laughing at?
My notes.
Okay.
I've written James Elwick.
Elwick. Huh?
It's not. It's a student's name.
Huh? Well, that was all that segment really was, and then it goes to another interview with AJ Styles, done by Renee Young.
I miss Renee Young.
She's having a baby.
Why did she having a baby? I'm just saying I miss her. I like Renee Young.
But yeah, not AJ was just basically saying he was, he's going to be champion. Really, there wasn't really.
Not much to it, really.
Yeah, there's quite a few of these backstage segments, interviews, and I kind of feel like we didn't need that many, really.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. There's one later on that like really annoyed me, but we'll get to that when it comes up.
This show wasn't that long of a show, really. There isn't actually a timestamp on how long it went, but I think that's when they used to do Talking Smack as well.
Yeah.
So I think with Talking Smack, it went about 3 hours. The show. So the next match was Nikki Bella against Carmella in a no disqualification match.
There was like a bit of a video package, and they did like a replay of Talking Smack, and I've got a note like Talking Smack was so good back then.
Yeah, like when it was Daniel Bryan and Renee Young.
Yeah.
So this feud had actually been going on for about 3 months. So I don't know if you remember, but Nikki Bella had returned at SummerSlam that year.
Yeah.
And then the SmackDown after, Carmella, they were meant to have like I don't even think Carmella had an entrance. She was just in the ring.
Yeah.
And Nikki was having like an interview before the match, and then Carmella attacked her. That was really good.
I do remember that. Yeah.
I feel like these, they got a bit of time really.
How long was the match?
8 minutes.
Okay.
Which I think for them too is a lot of time, really. I probably say this all the time, but I do think both Nikki Bella and Carmella are underrated.
Yeah.
I think because the characters Carmella's been given doesn't really allow her to show what she can do really, like as an actual wrestler.
It's more, she has more of like a gimmick than a gimmick wrestler than actually being a wrestler, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I remember we saw Carmella challenge Bayley for the NXT Championship in 2000. Was that in 2016? Yeah, so that was at the beginning of 2016. That's when they were still in NXT, obviously. And I remember being so excited for that match.
Yeah, actually, I remember that. And that's saying something.
Yeah. Fun fact: Carmella was the last person drafted in the draft in 2016.
Really?
Yeah.
That shows how underrated she is.
But she was in it. That was like she was in NXT though.
Oh, yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
That was like still a call up there.
I suppose.
So,
can we go into the match? You still got some.
Oh, the only thing I was going to say was this. So this was obviously just before Christmas. So that Christmas, I don't know if you remember.
Did we get matching t-shirts?
Yeah, we each bought each other a Carmella t-shirt.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah.
In Australia, weren't we?
Yeah.
We had matching t-shirts. We were that couple.
So yeah, getting into the match, at one point Carmella hangs Nikki Bella upside down in the turnbuckle and does the like you can't see me, and then starts striking her with some kendo stick, with a kendo stick. Sorry.
Yeah, I have just before that, Carmella does her head scissors, driving Nikki into the stairs. And I do enjoy that the commentators say into the steel stairs. But it wasn't even that. It didn't look very good. Like I know I've just sat here and said they're underrated, but that didn't look that good. I don't think that was worth like the commentary even like acknowledging it like in a big way, really. Like yeah.
So yeah, also
there's a lot of working of Nikki's left leg by Carmella, which I thought was a bit strange considering I thought she was should be working on the neck.
Yeah,
that's one thing.
Because she does get her into a submission hold, which where like she wraps her legs around Nikki's neck. I can't actually remember what the hold's called.
That's really funny because I have here Carmella has Nikki in a headlock with her legs, but I'm sure you'll tell me the correct name for that.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, and then Nikki just grabs a kendo stick and strikes her in the head. I like the fact that she only had to hit her once.
Yeah.
Like, because like nowadays sometimes they'd probably hit like 5 times before they broke the hold. I thought like that did look really good. Just that one swipe and it took her out. Nikki also does a good. So she's on the barricade and she does like a roundhouse kick to the face of Carmella. That looked really good.
Yeah, I've got that. And then you're back in the ring and then Nikki starts attacking Carmella with the kendo stick. And then commentary just keeps saying like how deeply personal this match is. Like it's so personal.
Yeah. Carmella was sporting a black eye as well.
Yeah, was it a real black eye or a...
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. So yeah, Nikki sprays Carmella with a fire extinguisher for quite a while, to be fair. She was getting... She was getting white stuff down her trousers. Not for the first time.
Oh, you're hilarious.
And picks her up, Rack Attack 2.0, and yeah, Nikki wins. Like I said, this match went 8 minutes.
I just thought that this being a no disqualification match, I thought there'd be more in it. in a way.
Yeah, but they're not going to do anything with chairs, tables, or ladders, are they? Do you know what I mean? It's at TLC.
That's a good point. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way. Yeah, I just thought that like they just didn't do as much as I thought.
Must have tried to use weapons that obviously no one else is going to use.
Yeah.
But then it's like, why have an ODQ match on a TLC? Like, I do think it, it added something different because I don't really like these themed pay-per-views anyway. So it kind of added a bit of variety. But yeah, if
I was just thinking about.
You pointed at me like you were going to speak. It's a podcast. You can't point at me like you're going to say something and then.
I was literally just thinking. Do you remember what we reviewed? I can't remember what we reviewed just recently. And Trish and Lita had a match. Was it Trish and Lita?
Evolution.
No. And I was saying about how like there was like a.
Do you mean Trish and Victoria?
Maybe
it's Survivor Series 2002.
That's the one. And they had like hairbrushes or something ridiculous and like cooking pans.
Hairbrushes.
What do they have?
They had a sweeping brush.
A sweeping brush.
And an ironing board.
Yeah, like those sorts of things. It's like, well, at least they've come on from that, haven't they? Like, they got the. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, at the end of the match, Carmella, she grabs the microphone and says it wasn't her that attacked her at Survivor Series, it was Natalya. So I don't know if you're just going a bit forward. I don't know if you remember on an episode of Smackdown they did backstage interviews and there was on one screen there was Nikki, on one screen there was Natalya. And Natalya just looked like Stifler's mum. She looked absolutely awful. I don't know if you remember.
I do remember.
Yeah, that reminded me of the feud and I just thought, oh God, do you remember that awful interview where Natalya just looked awful? But no, I did really enjoy this match. I do think, for me, I think it was my second favourite match of the show, to be honest.
Oh, right, okay.
Obviously, the main event was my favourite, but we'll get into that, obviously, at the end of part of the show.
Next, I have like Natalya.
Whoa, sorry. I just want to cut you off there, right?
Sure.
Because Carmella has basically just said, Natalya's a heel, why would I lie? Do you know, like, Natalya's a bad person, why would I lie? And the next thing is an advert for King K Jewelry where Natalya is a lovely person. She's helping someone out pick out an effing engagement ring. What the hell? Like, why have that next to that? Like, or why you don't even need it on the shirt? Why do you need why does it need to be Natalya? Why does it need to be Natalya? Have it be someone that's not even doing something? Like, what was Naomi doing that day? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, why have someone basically come out and say Natalya's a bad person, she's done this, and then have an advert where she's a good person, she's having to pick out a bloody engagement ring? Like, that just really, like, annoyed me. That I just thought that's what's wrong with WWE. There's just no consistency with characters and things like that. It's like, how can I hate you when you're helping someone buy a wedding ring for someone? Do you know what I mean? Like,
engagement ring.
It's the same. It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
It's the same.
It's not the same thing.
It's a ring that goes on the same finger.
All right then.
Sorry, that just like really annoyed me.
Didn't notice like
trying not to swear a few times.
Well, I did. Yeah, I think because obviously they follow, later on in the paper they follow up this engagement ring thing with like you watch the engagement. Like, what is the point?
Oh, it's because that King K Jewelry will be like a sponsor for the WWE.
I know. That just annoys me.
Yeah, but like, can you imagine like Eddie Kingston on AEW, like pouring the alcohol into Jon Moxley's back, in that match, and then after that being like doing an advert for helping old women buy the groceries or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like
adopting puppies.
Yeah. It's just, why do we need it? Why do some wrestlers can't come out and do things on social media because it doesn't, like, WWE don't like it interfering with their storylines. You're doing it yourself, like, I think, was it Renee? No, like Lana and Rusev we spoke about before. They got in trouble because they announced their engagement got leaked, and then they stopped their storylines and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's just BS.
It is, isn't it?
So
can we move on, or do you want to continue?
I feel pretty fired up about it, to be honest. So next up, Daniel Bryan is getting interviewed by Dasha.
You enjoyed saying that just to wind me up, didn't you?
Yeah, I was going to say Prancer, Donna, and Dixon as well, but so it's putting over both men, kind of like saying, even though he didn't like the Miz, he gets the job done pretty much, really. And then the Miz shows up and says, basically, I wish I could get in that ring and beat you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Which then made me think how disappointed I was when we went to SummerSlam and their match.
Yeah.
When they finally did get to fight. But anyway, that's irrelevant.
But I don't think it was their fault. I think the card was too long and it was maybe in the wrong
place.
Like, imagine if that had opened the show. Like, I think we'd feel differently about it, and I think majority of people would as well. I think it was just in the wrong spot in the card. And, like, also on that pay-per-view, there was matches that didn't need to be on that pay-per-view, really. But obviously we'll talk about that, at a different time when we do that review. So, yeah, the next match is The Miz against Dolph Ziggler in a ladder match. They had a great video package showing, their heated rivalry over the past few months.
It was a good video package, but the only note I have of the video package is how much I love Maurice's outfits.
Yeah, well, when she came to the ring, my first note was how good does Maurice look, yeah.
She does, doesn't she? She looks incredible all the time.
Yeah, one thing I did think in this match as well, when you see that IC title hung up there, it's now they've changed the design back to a newer design. It kind of like seems like it's lost some of its prestige. I don't know, with that white belt. I think that like elevated it in a way a bit.
Yeah, I hate the new one.
I don't hate it, but
do.
like
I hate it.
I hate most.
I hate it.
The belts in WWE just look like toys, really. Like just like easy belts you can make into kids' toys, really.
Exactly. They don't have that like quality about them anymore. Like that. What's the word I'm looking for?
Value.
Yeah, like
prestige.
Yeah, prestige. That's a word. They're not prestigious at all, are they? They're just sort of like
when I was a kid, like whoever had the big gold belt that most famous for Ric Flair having, that like to me that was like the most important thing in the world. Who had that belt was like the best person. Do you know what I mean?
You're still like that. What are you talking about?
No, like now I don't care it. Like I do not care as much now, like at all. Like
what about AEW? Their big gold belt.
Oh, there's definitely has more prestige.
Yeah.
I mean, like John Moxley, like he was their champion for a long time, and like he's only just lost a match.
Yeah.
Like he's lost one match in all the time he's been in AEW. Like they build people right, really. Like
yeah,
WWE are too busy doing 50-50 booking. Like
they just don't know what they want, do they?
No.
Yeah.
So
going into the match.
Yeah, Ziggler hits a nice tornado DDT onto the Miz onto the ladder. That was a good spot.
It did annoy me. Like, sort of towards the beginning of this match, David Otunga was on commentary and he was saying like the Miz has the athletic ability of Justin Bieber. So this is a bit unfair. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well,
talk about like.
I think he's in one sense they're saying that because he's the heel and David Otunga's a babyface announcer, maybe. But
maybe.
The Miz is really underrated as well. Like going back to people that are underrated, he is a very safe wrestler. Don't get me wrong, but he's also like he can go out there and do it when he has to.
Yeah, and I just think like he's just got such a good character and persona. I don't know. It's just sort of a really unfair comment, and I feel like a lot of the time on commentary, just because someone's a heel, I don't think you should bury them. And I feel like there was a lot of burying.
There's a way to bury them, isn't there?
Yeah. I just felt there were
not even bury them, just make them look like they're not the nice. Like,
I think commenting on their wrestling,
letting people know they are heel, like a bad guy. Do you know what I mean?
And I think commenting on like their wrestling ability doesn't for me anyway, doesn't get them over as a heel. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it loses stock in them.
Yeah, it does. It makes you think, well, you can compare him to Justin Bieber and like I don't know. I just feel like that wasn't the right way to go about it at all.
Yeah, so Miz sets up a ladder as like a bridge through the ropes. Then Ziggler pushes the Miz off face first into the ladder. And then Ziggler springboards off it with an elbow drop onto the Miz.
That was really good. And this is my literally my pet hate, and I'm going to say about 600 times during this match. But Ziggler climbs the ladder so slowly that Miz manages to pull him down and then gives him a running clothesline. But it just annoys me, like, watching him try and climb the ladder like an idiot. And there's like my pet peeve in wrestling. I hate watching ladder matches purely because of this reason. Like, it's just ridiculous.
I know this is a WWE review, but like, we're normally saying how good things are in AEW and WWE aren't. One thing that does annoy me about what I've noticed in AEW ladder matches, no one seems to try and there hasn't even been that many, but like the ones I have noticed, no one seems to try and get the belt until they're actually going to get it to win it. Do you know what I mean? It's more, especially in Young Buck matches, it's more spot than the finish. Whereas, I think you need teases. Like if you're having a ladder match, why aren't you trying to climb that ladder? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It just annoys me. So then Dog goes to climb the ladder again. And once again, he's extremely slow. It's painful. And then Miz pushes the ladder over. Miz and Dolph are on a ladder fighting, and Dolph pushes Miz off. And then instead of grabbing the title, he has like a little break at the top of the ladder. He just stands there and is like...
He's catching his breath.
Yeah, and she's like, grab the title. That's what I keep thinking. And then Miz pushes the ladder over, so then just annoys me. Just annoys me.
Yeah, Miz slingshots Ziggler into like a powerbomb then onto the ladder.
Yeah.
Like the ladder that's set up in the turnbuckle as a bridge that we just talked about a minute ago. Sorry, kind of didn't explain that very well, did I?
I've got Miz with a skull-crushing finale onto the ladder. That was a brutal spot. Yeah,
there's a lot of cool spots in this match, but like I kind of just said, it's kind of hard to explain some of them, like talking. It's like what they do with some of the ladders and things. It's easier to see.
I've got Miz climbs the ladder and goes onto the title. And he is holding onto the title, but Dolph kicks the ladder from underneath him, so he's sort of hanging in midair, holding onto the title, but then he falls without the title. So that's a bit disappointing. He didn't win. But I always think like that must hurt your knees and ankles so much, dropping from that height.
Yeah. So getting to the end of the match. Ziggler. So now there's two ladders set up in the ring, and Ziggler climbs up both ladders. Then the Miz runs up and he kicks him in the balls twice. Ziggler falls and the Miz retains the IC Championship. This match went 25 minutes. At the end of the match, the Miz dedicates his victory to the SmackDown General Manager Daniel Bryan.
I quite enjoyed, except for the climbing the ladders really, really slowly. I did enjoy this match.
Yeah, I did think it was a little. The first few minutes did seem a bit slow. Yeah. But I did get into it. So the next match was a chairs match between Kalisto and Baron Corbin. But before we get into that, this is your first time listening to the Man and the Wife podcast, please subscribe to the channel and like this video on YouTube if you're enjoying what you're listening to. Also check out the other content out on the channel. So now into Kalisto and Corbin's chairs match. So a question for you. Do you prefer Baron Corbin with the long hair, or do you prefer him with the bald head that he has now?
Do you mean his character or just his look?
Oh no, the look, yeah.
I prefer him with the long hair, I think. Maybe because I associate this bald fella with like the King of the Ring and the dog food and all that. Maybe it's the connotations he has with it.
Stuff.
Yeah, the bad stuff. Whereas at least here, like the commentary were putting him over so much, weren't they? Like about that Corbin's gonna be like the next big best thing and blah blah blah, and obviously.
I'm actually surprised that he's never been champion yet, just because
his look.
We went not that. It's just we seemed to go through a stage where everything was like Baron Corbin.
Yeah, there was like they were really pushing him, weren't they?
Spoiler alert! I do think this is like the best chairs match I've ever seen. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, because I think the first chairs match was between The Undertaker and Batista, but they just hit each other with chairs. Whereas in this match, they used, I know it is a weapon, but they used the chairs as a weapon. Do you know what I mean? Like they do things with chairs that you wouldn't normally do. Like they don't just hit each other on the back with them. Like they set a load of chairs up and do moves through the chairs, and
Yeah.
Just get what I mean.
No, I know what you mean. Absolutely. That when you put it like that, that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but like as a match, a chairs match just doesn't interest me anyway. But like this match did get me interested there, but when you say a chairs match, it just doesn't interest me because like it just sounds like crap.
Yeah, a bit rubbish, a bit
naff. Because like tables match makes sense. You have to put your opponent through a table.
Yeah.
Ladder match, you have to climb the ladder. Chairs match, you can hit someone with a chair. Like,
and it's still a pin, isn't it? Like it's
yeah. It just shouldn't be a match.
No.
Because like they could use all the other things as well.
Yeah.
Because they're saying, well, I think it might even be the tables match. There's no rule, so it's like, so you can use, like, if it's a tables match, surely only the table should be legal. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But yeah, you could go way deeper into that, but
yeah,
you'd probably kill some of the matches.
Yeah.
So it starts off with Strong with Kalisto kicking a chair into Corbin. Corbin throws Kalisto into a load of chairs that are set up on the barricade outside. Yeah. Corbin sets up a chair in the corner. Then he sets up a load of chairs like in the ring. Like I think maybe like 4 or 5 chairs, like close, like sits them up properly, close together.
Yeah.
And then Kalisto trips Corbin in, like face first into the chair that he's set up in the corner. And then he goes onto the top rope and jumps on Corbin, and he goes through all the chairs that he's just set up. That's probably like the best chair spot they've ever done in a chairs match, I think. That like,
yeah.
Like, I'm not even a massive fan of Corbin or Kalisto, but like, I would probably say this is my favourite Baron Corbin match. This is my favourite Kalisto. Actually, I do remember Kalisto and Neville having a really good match, but like, if someone just said to me, what's your favourite Baron Corbin match, I'd probably say this one off the top of my head. Like, I don't think there's one bad. Every match on this card has something good to say about it, which you can't say that about
a lot of
most WWE, shows.
There's a Hurricane Run off the barricade by Kalisto that was really good. Then I actually haven't got a lot of notes for this match. Not because I didn't enjoy it, I just kind of, as you were saying earlier about the ladders match, I found it hard to like describe things,
So in the ring, Kalisto puts a chair on top of Corbin, then goes up and does a moonsault from the top rope. Then Kalisto jumps off the top rope, smashes. Kalisto jumps off the top rope and Corbin smashes a chair into his face and just throws it at him. And then Corbin's already got like a load of chairs piled up in the middle of the ring, and Corbin hits the end of days onto Kalisto to win the match.
I just talking, how we talked about earlier about commentary burying the talent. Someone said they didn't think that Kalisto could do this quality of a match. Was it JBL?
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised that he'd done that quality of match of this quality. It's like, well...
But I think he thinks he's putting Kalisto over by talking like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like, you're like, oh, wow, like...
This shit little guy, all them times I did not swear in the Natalia part.
And all for Kalisto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, it's kind of like... It makes me think of, like, when somebody says like about like a kid or a student, like, oh, we couldn't think you could do that, and it's like, well, then it's like a really negative thing to say, like we don't expect that of you, rather than being like, that's amazing, you've done a really good job. It's like it's a really negative sort of way, like to give somebody a compliment almost. Do you know what I mean?
You could have maybe worded it a bit better, like Kalisto showed a lot of heart in this match, or showed what he's made of.
Yeah, definitely. What an amazing quality match from Kalisto.
Yeah. Kalisto pulling out a 5-star match or something.
Exactly.
Like
Not
that.
like I didn't think he could do this, but I guess he has.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't
know. So this match was 13 minutes long.
At the end of the match, Corbin goes to the announcer's table and he like rips the top thing off and he starts shouting like, "This is what's going to happen to anyone who gets in my way," and the commentary are really putting him over, like that he's going to be the next big thing, really. As I said earlier, but nothing came of that.
Yeah, well, I think the Royal Rumble, which was like the next big pay-per-view after this, I do think Corbin eliminated Braun Strowman in that, which was like, I remember like shit, like
that was
I've just
big,
won again. I've like
you are
opened a can of beans now. I remember that that was like a good, like something good that Corbin like did at the time. Like, oh wow, I didn't think like you'd eliminate him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So now backstage, there's another interview. Dasha is there again. She is interviewing Natalya backstage. Natalya is wishing Becky Lynch good in her match, and then Dasha says, Carmella says, you were the person that attacked Nikki Bella. And she said, well, that's absurd. And that's it. So the next match is the SmackDown Women's Champion against Alexa Bliss. The champion is Becky Lynch. So the pay-per-view before that, it was Survivor Series where someone had attacked Nikki Bella. Becky Lynch was on the team, but Nikki Bella was the team captain, even though Becky was the champion. Like, that's pretty crap, that.
That is crap, isn't it? Obviously, this is like before she had like the man persona, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's just, I don't know. I feel like WWE were just always kind of like putting her down and, I don't know, not building her up enough. Like, I kind of feel like...
Not believing in her.
They just, she, in one sense, which she definitely deserved to be the first SmackDown Women's Champion. But then it's kind of like... They kind of like took away from her straight away in one sense. Like, they didn't really have a like... This was really her first really feud, and she lost the belt, really. Like, they did have matches and do stuff. I think she did even... I don't think it was... she wasn't injured, but she had to have an operation, so I don't know if it was like...
That had a knock-on effect or whatever.
Maybe. Because they were meant to have a match on a SmackDown, and then it got cancelled because she needed this operation.
Yeah.
And that's when they had the match at Glasgow. So I remember, because we were going to a house show, and I thought, oh man, we're not going to see Becky Lynch. But then luckily, she was, back for that, which obviously was really good. But yeah, I just kind of wish they believed in Becky.
It's like Glasgow, UK that they're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is there another Glasgow?
I don't know. Well, sometimes there's a Melbourne in Australia, there's a Melbourne in UK, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it was Glasgow.
Okay.
Scotland. Yeah. Drew McIntyre just didn't enter the room, by the way.
Wow. You are definitely a dad, aren't you?
Talk less and claim more. That's what it says on the advert on TV.
All right.
For the Slam Attack Reloaded cards.
Oh, okay.
That you can see on openings on the channel.
Nice little plug there.
Yeah, that wasn't even intentional. I didn't even think that through.
So going into the Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss match, Alexa obviously being the heel, and she bites Nikki during this. You see that?
Yeah.
There wasn't a stipulation. Oh, it was a tables match.
There wasn't a stipulation in a tables match.
I just didn't think. I didn't see the tables match stipulation. I do have a note here that Becky's gear is awful in this match.
No, it's not.
Okay. It is.
So in this match, there's like loads of teases of potentially one of them going through the table, but obviously nothing was coming of it. At one point, Becky goes to put Bliss through the table, but she knocks the table over.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then Bliss ends up DDTing Becky onto the back of the table. That's where like obviously the runs are on the back of the table. But I don't really think she'd like follow that through, really, because that clearly hurt Alexa Bliss more than it would hurt Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Like, because her back's going flat on them, the rims on the back of the table.
Yeah.
Whereas Becky Lynch's face did not really hit that.
Not at all, no. There was a point right at the beginning of the match where Alexa brings in a table and then tries to lift it up, and she can't. And it's so cute. She's so tiny. It's like this massive table. That was really cute. And then Becky does like a disarmer through the table leg, doesn't she? Like using that as leverage to make it more painful. That looked really good. Yeah,
so at the beginning of the match, they had set up a table outside of the ring, which kind of gets forgotten about while they're doing the other stuff. And then they're on the apron, and Bliss ranks the eye of Becky, and then she drops through the floor, and then powerbombs Lynch through the table.
Can we just back up a little bit, because you missed a spot that like really annoyed me.
Go on.
It's very little. It's like a tiny little thing.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Glad you interrupted me for it then.
well, you'd skip past it, so I just wanted to bring it up. So there's Becky sets a table up on the bottom ropes, like wedged through, and then she picks up Alexa and places her on it, and then she goes to do a move, but then obviously, Alexa moves away, so she doesn't go through the table, and it's like, why? If you have time to pick her up and put her through it, place her on it nicely, why don't you just powerbomb her through it or something? Do you know what I mean?
She's going for a cut of grass off the top rope.
Yeah, but no, it just annoyed me. It was like, hang on a second. If you have time to place somebody on there nicely, then climb up on a rope onto the top turnbuckle, you have time to do something else and to win the match. Just saying. You can go back to what you're saying now.
So Bliss powerbombs Becky Lynch through the table. You've got a new SmackDown Women's Champion.
You go.
Oh, I was just going to say, this match went 15 minutes and 10 seconds.
I kind of feel like this match came to a really quick end. Like, although it was a 15-minute match, for me the ending just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was a bit like...
Oh, I think that was kind of like a good thing in one sense. Because I remember when it happened, I was like, oh, crap. Like, that's it. Like...
Yeah, I suppose. I guess in that way. But yeah, I just kind of felt like it was a really unexpected win and an unexpected finish. And it just... Don't know if there was enough storyline in this match for me.
Huh?
I didn't particularly enjoy it as much as I thought
No,
I would.
I didn't enjoy it as much as I normally do with Becky Lynch match.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what really annoyed me more than anything was Dasha, your little friend, coming onto ringside to interview Becky. Like, that never happens. Like, why would you
She
do
had
that?
a busy night, Dasha.
She hurt her keep that night.
But I think like Becky Lynch played it really well because she was like, I don't appreciate you getting in my face. Like,
oh, I like
Yeah.
that. It just
she would like it. Obviously, if it was real, you would be like that, wouldn't you?
Oh
like,
yeah.
You just lost some like the most important thing to your job.
I think
or
that's why it
whatever.
annoyed me so much. It was
Yeah.
like, why is she doing that? And then when Becky acted like that, I was like, that makes sense. But just thought, why is she even coming down? Like, Dasha, stay backstage where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. So obviously Becky Lynch is one of my favourite wrestlers. So I remember at the time I was gutted that Becky Lynch had lost the belt. I wish she'd have like gone through more women, not like lost it at the first person really.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking, well, at least to put it on Alexa Bliss, and it's not someone like that's had a belt before. It's someone new that they're going to build and hopefully grow. Of course, obviously, Bliss was in NXT for a long time. She never had one takeover match, and you know, she was kind of, in one sense, she was kind of a bit like eye candy in a way because she was Murphy and Wesley Blake's like manager.
Yeah.
And she'd come out in a little Freddy Krueger outfit and shake a bum and.
I bet she's come on so much. Like, she wasn't, like, not that she was nothing in NXT, but, you know, she was not a serious contender. And then, wasn't she the first woman to win this Raw and SmackDown championships?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's quite accomplishment.
Yeah. From
somebody who in NXT wasn't taken seriously.
Yeah, and she's won, now obviously she's won the Tag Team Championship, she's won the Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Like, all she needs to do is win a Royal Rumble, and she's kind of done everything.
And the NXT Championship.
Well, yeah, no, but I don't know. They kind of see that as like a minor league thing in some cases, don't they?
Right, okay.
Which it shouldn't be, but...
No, yeah, I suppose. But yeah, no, she's won quite
she's
a lot.
Probably, like, done the best for herself out of people that's come... Like, from someone that was kind of like a nobody in NXT.
Yeah. She's definitely...
She's like the opposite of, like, Sanity. Like, they were really good in NXT, and then they went to the main roster, and they did nothing with them, and...
Yeah.
You know, where are they now kind of thing. So now it is time for the main event. It is Dean Ambros against AJ Styles for the WWE Championship.
In a TLC
match. So...
Yes?
I thought you were going to say something.
I can start if you want.
You go for it.
So I got Dean throws a chair into AJ's. Dean throws AJ into a chair like face first, like he's got a chair set up, and like just literally throws him into this chair. Like his face just smacks against it, and then for some reason I'm not quite sure why Dean does it. You can't see me.
Yeah, they're battling like up the entranceway.
Yeah, I don't quite get that. Not a clue. So AJ sets up chairs, and then Dean Ambrose reverses a suplex with a suplex throw. That looked amazing.
Yeah, at one point as well, when they're on the entrance where there's like 2 chairs set up and Dean sits down and he says, "Let's talk and see if this is actually a good idea." That made me chuckle.
Yeah.
So then the battle up the ramp and then through the crowd. At one point, Dean empties the bin and puts the bin, or AJ in the bin, should we say? Would not be doing that if I was a wrestler. Like, it's not like getting a trash can that's clean from underneath the ring, is it? It's like
it's an actual bin.
It's an actual bin, like
not a farm.
Yeah.
Styles suplexes Ambrose through a table. That was really good. And then Ambrose starts to take all the announcers' tables apart, like all of them, not just like 1 or 2. Like, you know.
Yeah.
He goes for all of them.
And at one point, Dean's on the barricade and he goes to jump on AJ and AJ drop kicks him in like midair. Obviously, that was a good spot.
Yeah. So after Ambrose has finished clearing the announcer tables, he gets AJ laid up on the American, I suppose you could say, announcer's table, and Ambrose sets a ladder up on the Spanish announcer's table, and he does an elbow drop off the ladder onto AJ, and it breaks the announcer's table. That just looked horrendous.
Yeah. Yeah, and just before that in the ring, Ambrose had hit a sidewalk slam onto AJ and like goes through the chair. So that's what they should do in the chairs matches: make your opponent go through the chair.
And then I have here, Ambrose climbs the ladder like an idiot, so bloody slow. I'm not sure what there's something else on my note there, just my pet hate coming out.
Yeah, and also at one point in the ring, they set up like 4 chairs together.
Yeah.
And like, Dean does like a suplex, like flip throw, kind of, a bit like what Pete Dunne does.
Yeah.
And then seeing AJ goes through like all these chairs. That's he rips his tights as well. I don't know if you noticed.
I didn't notice that. No.
There's a hole in his bum, a different one.
We got a reverse DDT by AJ to Dean on the outside the ring. That was really good. And then Dean's lying on a table on the outside the ring, and AJ does a springboard 450 splash onto him, and that breaks the table.
Spot of the show, that definitely.
Yeah,
like
really...
that is like what GIFs are made of.
Yeah. What GIFs are made of.
Yeah, and just before that, Dean had been climbing the ladder, and AJ hit his phenomenal forearm onto Dean, knocking him off. Yeah, so then AJ's going to climb the ladder, but then James Ellsworth comes down, and then AJ goes to beat him up on the outside. He goes to hit the Styles Clash on him on the steps, but Dean comes over and, breaks up, hits the Dirty Deeds on AJ, which is now known as the Paradigm Shift. So that's onto the steps. Yeah, so then getting towards the end of the match, Dean and AJ, they're on... they're climbing up the ladder, and Dean knocks AJ off. So you think, like, he knocks him off and he's out of the ring, like he's completely gone. Like,
yeah,
you're like, we're gonna have a new champion here. But then James Ellsworth pushes him off the ladder, sending Dean through 2 tables.
Outside,
AJ on the outside of the ring. Sorry, yeah. So they're in the ring, obviously in the middle of the ring. Ellsworth tips the ladder up, and Ambrose goes straight through 2 tables on the outside of the ring. AJ obviously then gets back into the ring, climbs the ladder, and wins the championship. This match went 30 minutes and 50 seconds. This is what a main event should be. Definitely. Like, it's a main event for a reason. That's why it was the best match on the card. This card.
That's true. It was, and I think, like, for me, the match had story, which I enjoyed. I just thought it was a really good match. This
is probably my second favourite Dean Ambrose match.
What's your first favourite?
Him against Kevin Owens at Royal Rumble 2016, because we were there.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that.
That was the last man standing match. So, the reason why James Ellsworth had turned on Dean Ambrose and helped AJ win, because on SmackDown, Ellsworth had beat AJ twice,
Yeah.
Through shenanigans and Dean Ambros helping him. So James thought with AJ being the champion, he could be champion because he knows he can beat AJ. But then he didn't beat AJ when they came to have a match.
Rats.
Yeah, rats for it sucks to be James Ellsworth's wife.
What's he doing nowadays? No idea.
I honestly don't know. He was probably on the indies before the pandemic hit.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, that was TLC 2016. There's no attendance figure on the
Wikipedia.
Yeah, page. So you would have thought there'd have been between maybe 12 and 14,000 people there.
Yeah.
So
what was your high points and low points then?
High points definitely the main event. That 450 splash through the tail was probably the spot of the night. The spot with Kalisto and Corbin when Corbin goes through all the chairs, that was high spot of the show as well. Really low points. There's not really any massive low points. Well, it's not really a low point, but I kind of wish that Heath and Rhyno got maybe a bit more time in their match.
And just a Natalia section, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, and that's something really small as well, but it's something small but so stupid as well. Like,
yeah.
But no, I think there's something gained out every match in this. The first match you're setting up like what's gonna become of Orton and Wyatt, even though they did drop the ball with it, but at the time
it looked promising.
Yeah, it looked promising. So even though it was like just under 6 minutes, it was kind of, in my eyes, it was kind of like a 5-star segment because, there
was a build to it.
Yeah, you've got what you've got out of it. You've got more out of it than you thought you would in one sense.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki and Carmella was really good. The Miz and Dolph Ziggler was really good. Even like I said, Baron Corbin and Kalisto was really good. Like I did not expect that match to be as good as it was.
Yeah.
Like I probably at the time, I was probably not even interested in that match, thinking it's gonna be crap, and probably just sat on my phone. And then, like I say, it's probably my favourite chairs match. I mean, I suppose low point, you could maybe say the tables match was a low point in one sense, just because
I was going to say the tables match.
It just didn't, I don't know.
Didn't deliver the way it should have done.
No, I can't even really put my finger on why neither, really, but maybe it didn't need to go, maybe it was too long, maybe that first section of the match didn't need to be there, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe take 5 minutes out of it, maybe take 5 minutes out of that and give the opening match 5 more minutes, but then, I don't know, would that taken away the win if it had been a longer match? You just don't know. So what was your high point of the show? I
would say a high point of the show is the main event.
Yep.
Thought that was a really good match, and then the low point for me would be the tables match. That would be my 2 high and low points.
Awesome. So, anything else to add on this TLC review?
No.
No?
I don't know why you asked me that question.
I don't want to say it and don't want to end the show and then you're like, ah.
Yeah, because the one time you won't ask me, I will do that, won't I?
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, thank you for listening to the Man
and the Wife
podcast today. If this is your first time listening to us, there is loads more episodes on the channel. Just some off the top of my head, there is Night of Champions 2015, Survivor Series 2002, Women's Evolution, Brooklyn 4, WrestleMania 28. We talk about Owen Hart in the Dark Side of the Ring. So yeah, there's plenty of episodes on the channel. If you've not listened to them, make sure you check them out.
If you want to request anything that you'd like us to review, pop it in there. Pop in the comments. Let us know what you'd like us to review.
Yeah, if you're a gamer, check out the 2K20 content on the channel. If you're interested in wrestling action figures, check out the Fun with Figures episodes on the channel. And if you're a fan of Brody Lee, you can watch my reactions of Brody Lee in ZZW in the Best of Brody Lee. That is on the channel, also in the playlist part. So, check out all that good content out on the channel. So thank you for listening to the Man
and the Wife
podcast, and remember to hit that like button and that subscribe button. Thank you for listening today.